What's up, everybody? Pyro here, and today we're breaking down the best 10 tracks of 11/17/23. Let's get into it. It's been a fun week. There's lots of good stuff, and I'm pretty excited to break it down for y'all. Let's jump in. At number 10, we have Oakland's Finest Glass Beaches by the Sea Floor Cinema. I really don't have any negatives for this song. I really love the pluckiness and the twanginess of the guitar in a lot of areas of this song. There's some really good shredding there towards the 3/4 mark. And then you also have some really, really nice vocals that give you this somber feel where the instrumental complements that somber feel as well, but I feel like the vocals really bring out that almost like emo quality of this song, and the instrumental kind of just complements it. And there's the twanginess of the guitar, that pluckiness almost gives it a upbeat vibe as well. But in as a whole, it's more of a I'd say just kind of a somber quality in general, but that's what I would go with this. Number 9, we got Storm, Death Cassette. Death Cassette is a band from Winnipeg, Ontario, and you got to really appreciate the theme here. In my opinion, the title, Storm, I feel like those verses, the whole thing just kind of crescendos into a steady beat to start with through those verses, but when it hits that chorus, it's really hectic, and it almost feels like you're driving into a storm. Starting with the verse, you kind of have that work up, and then it hits there for the chorus. The guitars are dirty, grungy, kind of chugging. Instrumentally, it's nothing complex, but the rhythm guitar bits in the chorus really make this track for me. And I think without those, it would kind of feel lifeless in a way. But the glue here, her vocals are just this deep, almost harrowing southern punk rock vibe that you get, and it's really complimentary to this instrumental, and at times really is atmospheric and kind of creates its own instrument while getting those lyrics across. I really, really enjoy this one, and that's why it's at number 9 on this list. And next we have Wake Up, My Child by Fishbone. Fishbone are legends in the ska community, and with this track, it's almost hard to put into words there's so many instruments going on here, and you have the tappiness of the drums, which I really love that quality for the instrumental. It just kind of hits really nicely with the rest of what's going on here. And you have some nice guitar, you got trumpets, you got sound like keyboard going on. Everything's working diversely, but in unison. And at times it can be kind of cool to lose yourself in the cacophony of noises there. And then on top of that, you have the guy's vocals, they sound really nice, and they're just kind of have this like summery or almost springtime vibe that they provide to this song, and lay down some really, really catchy lyrics here as well. This song just makes you want to dance, and that's why it's at number 8 for me. And next we have Working by Big Mess. First of all, this album by Big Mess is really, really nice. If you enjoyed that vibe, you should definitely go check them out. This draws from so many different influences. I got kind of a early Descendants vibe from parts of this, but at the same time, I got the Ramones. I got a little bit of the Clash. Now, I don't know a whole lot of music by the Clash, but we had a lot of people in chat saying that it did kind of have this band in this album kind of had a little bit of a Clash vibe. Also heard the Buzzcocks. We heard Black Flag influences, but yet this band comes out feeling like their own thing. And I really respect the guitar work here in the background, the distortion, but at the same time, the production kind of has this old school vibe, but it kind of creates something new from those sounds that it borrows from. And so you're not really mad at this track at all, or this album for that matter. And this is why this makes number 7 for me. It is simple, but man, it is nice. At number 6, we have Perpetual Terminal by Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour is a Washington, D.C. hardcore metal group. I think personally it's kind of edging on metalcore, but go with what you want genre-wise. The first 30 seconds has a really nice guitar intro that kind of gives me a reminiscent of Amon Amarth a little bit, and the rest of the track kind of encaptures this stepping out in a really cold, snowy night, the wind's howling, and you can see your own breath. That's the vibe I get from this song. So it kind of fits that first 30 seconds, again, of Amon Amarth, which is Viking metal. But from there, you almost get more of a Parkway Drive, Bleeding Through vibe. So if you like either of those bands, like early Parkway, you'll enjoy this band or song, in my opinion. Lyrically, this is a bit repetitive, but they do enough instrumentally while kind of keeping that overall vibe that they went for, that the song still feels fresh enough that you can just ignore the lyrics being repetitive. Vocally, the styles change quite a few times, but they sound really, really nice. And they're not overtly aggressive that they're going to scare away people that need some cleans in their music still. This is still going to work for you. So with that, I think this makes it an easy 6 for me. So moving on, we have the Scoffs, Factories in Heaven, at number 5. At number 5, we have the Scoffs, Factories in Heaven. The Scoffs are a Seattle punk band that kind of mixes in 70s rock to that punk vibe. Lyrically, it's very punk. You have first of all, the reason this is going to make 5 for me is just the relatable lyrics. You have many factory workers that feel this way at the end of the day. It's like, does all this fast-paced work for this giant business, is it going to result in something meaningful? Or am I just sweating for absolutely nothing? And then it kind of incorporates that feeling as well of, I can't wait for that final whistle because there's no factories in heaven. So it's like, yeah, I'm at this point, I almost feel like I'm better off dying. That's what the song there kind of mentions. And then it rolls into I want to have a nice chat with God, because what the frick is going on down there? We're all just running our lives endlessly for no reason type deal. So I almost go with a heavenly protest song here, because that main chorus has a very, very much like a church vibe to it, which I really dig, and is super like sing-alongable, if that's even a word. It is now. It's really, really nice. About a third of the way through this song, you have a decent guitar solo. It kind of brings another old school vibe to the song. But overall, this is just a really solid punk song. And it might mean more to me as a factory worker and, working around people that have similar thought processes as the lyrics provide here. So this might not be for everybody, but I really, really enjoy this song. And it's such a catchy song too, with such a great meaning. So at number 4, we have Fishbone, another one. I don't care. So this one, the lyrical content is what really encaptured my interest here. It really tells that story of when you're young, the people around you, they nitpick your personality, and maybe judge you for some of the things you're interested in, and just because you don't fit the social norm. Now, I don't imagine that like this person's an asshole by any means, but maybe just different and not quite fitting the mold of somebody in normal society. They tell them they had to, what are you doing with your future? They struggle to decide that. There was a few other things they mentioned as well that kind of encaptured that coming to age and realizing that, you know what, I don't care that I don't fit the social norm or mold for certain things. I really don't care. And you kind of hit that age where you're like, you kind of feel relieved, and you're just like, okay, hey, you know what? I've tried to work with all these people. I've tried to change, but you know what? It's now time to be myself and just accept that I am different than everyone else. And I really like that message. Guitar wise, nothing crazy complex, but just really nice rhythm. There's also some other instruments that are thrown in there to not quite as diverse as Wake Up My Child, but still keeps a nice really beat. But here, this is lyric heavy, and I think that is the prize winner in this song, and this is at number 4 for me. Next, we have Echo the Halls by Chuck Ragan. So Echo the Halls by Chuck Ragan comes in at number 3. This song is just an absolute vibe. Chuck's vocals bring this really soulful experience to the song that really provides this really feel good vibe to this entire song. And the piano's nice, the guitar is nice. There's not a lot of complexity here, but that is absolutely fine. I mean, when you have a 4-minute song that doesn't do a whole lot of complex changes, but adds just enough diversity to really create this atmosphere and does not come across as repetitive or anything like that, like in a bad way, that's a win in my book. That's a win in my book. And just the sound of his vocals are just fantastic. That alone gets at number 3 for me. I absolutely love it. Number 2, Trial by Fire, Judas Priest. Judas Priest are absolute legends in metal. Absolute legends. And it is so nice to see that they still have it. Instrumentally, this is just fire. The guitar work in this was really, really nice. Rob Halford's voice is just still really, really good. I mean, how old's the guy? And he's still out here just killing it. He's absolutely killing it. Now, I think lyrically, there's not a whole lot here that's like, got a little repetitive there towards the end, but there's some nice verses in here. Tells a nice little story. At the same time, it's just it's one hell of a fucking metal song. One hell of a metal song. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. It's a Priest song, and it does exactly what you want it to do. It's really well produced. Doesn't feel overproduced by any means, but it's really well produced, and it's good to hear these guys still just kicking ass. One of the very few bands that are at their age and just still putting out absolute fire tracks. This is number 2. Drum roll. We're going to do the honorable mentions of this week. So we have Chakran, Definite, The Greatest Drought. This song is instrumentally really complex. It almost brings this Egyptian vibe to the song as well. A lot of different instruments, a lot of different vocal harmonies. If you're into more metalcore with some cleans in it, you're going to want to check this one out. Really, really nice. Next, we have Modern Shitsuran Story by Saturday Night Karaoke. They're an Indonesian pop punk band. definitely worth a try. Vocally, it's really, really nice. And then you have just a really fun track. Half of it's in what I assume is Indonesian, and the other half is in English. But a really good fun vibe for a 2-minute song. It's in and out. It's fun. It's kind of a summer vibe. Like if it was still summer over here in Ohio, I'd be jamming this constantly. But it's a banger, guys. Check it out. Next, you have Hangin' Round by Big Mess, another Big Mess song. You got to check these guys out if you're into that old school kind of 70s, 80s style punk, but it still brings something new to the table. So you got to check these guys out. And finally, we have Being as an Ocean, Flesh and Bone. This song is really diverse for a metalcore song. It's got nice cleans, got nice screams, and as expected from Being as an Ocean, you have some nice talking over that instrumental, but it gets a really nice message across. It is experimental in certain ways, but at the same time, it fits nicely in that kind of mainstream area of metalcore. It kind of has both of those worlds connected, and I dig that. That is why it is number 4 on the honored mentions list. It's time for the number 1 pick. Dun, 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 dun. And that number 1 pick is Won't Give Up by Patagonia, who is a drag queen, environmentalist, and musician. You have Yo-Yo Ma, which at this point, he's an absolute legend. Even I'm aware of him, and I'm not into instrumentals, but the man is a master with a cello. And then you also have, I don't know why it's not giving me all the artists here, but Quinn Christopherson. Apologies for butchering your name. But he was a singer and songwriter from Alaska. So let's talk about that cello first. Yo-Yo Ma really brings this almost, it's like a harrowing, anxiety-ridden, almost squeal in certain areas of the song. But by the end, that kind of turns into more of a harrowing but reflective feel. Meanwhile, you have the guitar providing this really soft rock element. There's a band that the chorus reminds me of, and I want to say like George Harrison or the Beatles or something like that, that almost gives me that vibe, but that's not quite right. The other thing, maybe some like 70s soft rock or something. There's some kind of vibe there vocally on the I Won't Give Up area of this song, and it really just all coalesces and fits together wonderfully and creates this really nice track that, I don't know, it feels refreshing and different. And this is what I want to see from, like, whether this, you consider this soft rock or you consider this pop. This is what I love to see. Just the utter creativity here is fantastic. And that is why this comes in at number 1. Now, if you guys want to join me as I check out these tracks, I do a live show on Twitch every Friday. Pyroslayer 92 is my Twitch name. You can also check down in the description and just click the link for my Twitch site, hit follow, and you can join us every Friday as we check out new music. We typically check out anywhere from 20 to 100 tracks in an evening, just depending on how much time I'm provided. And then I create these videos based off that in hopes to kind of give some smaller bands some traffic and a well-deserved spotlight on them. Guys, again, I'm Pyro. I hope you enjoyed my top 10 of the week. If you have some disagreements or agreeances, drop those in the comments. If you want to let me know what your ratings are for each of these songs, I would love to hear those as well. But again, you can do that Friday as we check them out live, and you can drop your ratings there. Until next time, y'all, I hope you have a wonderful night, and peace out.